Welcome back to the Dr. Des Show. So, today we're going to be talking about shiny object syndrome. Now, if you've never heard of that, then as an entrepreneur, a lot of times you get shiny object syndrome, meaning you see a lot of different things, or you have a million and 10 ideas and you want to implement them all at the same time. Listen, I've been there, I've struggled with it, I still struggle with it. But today I want to talk about it, and I want to talk about some different strategies that you can do to make sure you're not, getting rid of all of your ideas and all the things that you want to do, but make sure you're structuring it so you can have a little more time freedom, because we know that with starting a business, one of my main goals was I want to make sure that I have time freedom. I want to make sure I have time to spend with my family. I want to make sure I have time to travel. I want to make sure I have time to go visit my family in different states, right? So that is one of the reasons I was drawn to entrepreneurship. But honestly, we'll get into this in another episode. But when you have your own business, you work basically 24/7, especially in the beginning. So you want to make sure that you are thinking about these things. But shiny object syndrome is a real syndrome. And we got it real bad, especially when we first become entrepreneurs. So today, that's what we're talking about. We're going to talk about some strategies that I have implemented within my online business that I have, within my consulting business, within my job, like all of these different areas. So let's dive in. When I first started my business, I felt like I had to do everything. I had to do all of the ideas. I had to just literally do it all. I had to say yes to everything. And in saying yes to everything, to speaking engagements, to doing one-on-ones with people, to doing all of these things, I got burnt out. And I got burnt out in a sense of like, I'm not able to spend a lot of time with my husband. I'm not able to spend a lot of time with my daughter. Like I'm working, till 4 in the morning. And then at the time, I'm working full time still too. And so I'm working till 4 in the morning, and then I got to get back up and I got to go back to work at 8 a.m. Right. So doing all of these things left me completely burnt out. So I knew that I needed strategies in place because one, I want to help people and I want to continue to make an impact, but I also want to sleep at night. So knowing that, I was able to say, okay, let me start prioritizing a little bit more. And this is what that prioritization looked like. Number one, it looked like transitioning from a one-on-one coaching model that I was doing when I started Young Black and Professional. So if you don't know about Young Black and Professional, that was my first business that I started once I graduated with my doctorate to help recent graduates kind of matriculate into their first career starting job. And I was doing one-on-one coaching. I was doing one-on-one resume development. I know some of y'all even listening, a lot of people that are now rocking with me in the Public Health Club, y'all were like some of my clients that I had when I was doing Young Black and Professional and I did y'all resumes. Even though it was intended for recent grads, a lot of my experienced professionals snuck in there when they found out I had a doctor, and they were like, oh yeah, let me go to her. But y'all are still here rocking with me. But me doing those one-on-ones, y'all know, like sometimes we would go over an hour on our call because I want to make sure that I'm providing you with a quality service and I'm not just taking your money, right? And a lot of people, you got to really vet these businesses, especially when you're going to give them your money, to make sure they're actually going to help you and actually going to be invested in you. But I know that for me, like, your success is my success. I tell my clients that. I tell like my club members that, like, when you gotta win, that means I gotta win. That means I'm doing something right. So I want to make sure that I'm giving you all the resources, everything that you need to get that win, right? So with doing that, like it was just so much doing the one-on-ones. Then after I'm doing the one-on-ones, after we meet for over an hour, then I got to go back and do your resume. And I'm spending a whole lot of time doing these resumes, right? It may take like, just depending on the resume, if it was like a really true recent graduate, you don't have a crazy amount of experience. So I could probably get that done, knock that out in an hour. But now, once all of the more seasoned professionals started hearing about me and my services, and y'all started coming to me, then it would take me a couple hours, like 2 to 3 hours, to do y'all's resumes because y'all have so much amazing experience. And I want to make sure that I'm correctly quantifying it and capturing it and pulling it out and bringing it out, right? So, and then also, like, I'm giving you tips and strategies and stuff like that, jobs that you should apply for that align with your resume. So I'm providing all of these services, and it's a lot. So one of the things that I did when I said I'm going to start the public health club, I was like, I'm not doing this model anymore of me doing the one-on-ones because now I don't have the time. So I moved into more of a group coaching format. So now within the club, one, there's an on-demand resume workshop. So now it's me guiding you through everything that you need to do to build out an amazing resume. And I do the mentorship sessions where you can come and share your resume on the screen and I can walk through it with you and tell you, do this, do that, take this out, do this, do that. And we can kind of talk about it and guide through. Now that I only do for an hour a week. So now I cut down my time from I don't know how many hours a week of doing that one-on-one with clients. And now I'm doing 1 hour a week and still getting people results because they can take that workshop that's on demand and they can come and I can really help them and truly help them to see like, okay, no, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it works, it helps. That is one of the strategies that I was like, okay, that's a game changer right there. Being able to go from to that model was amazing. And now I still get people asking me, and I had somebody even ask me the other day, hey, can I get a one-on-one with you? And I have to respectfully decline. And I always feel so bad when I'm declining, right? Because we want to help people, we want to do the things and everything like that. So I always feel so bad when I got to tell somebody, no, I can't do a one-on-one with you. But I realized like, okay, me saying no to them means I'm saying yes to my daughter, means I'm saying yes to my husband. So I have to look at it in a different way. And it also means I'm saying yes to sleep because I need that, right? So I have to look at it in a different way because if I do a one-on-one session with you, then I'm not just, okay, we're talking on the phone. All right, I'm telling you, okay, do this, this, and that. Like, no, if I'm doing a one-on-one session with you, especially if it's like business coaching, you're going to get a plan. Like, we're going to do a strategy. I'm going to follow up with you. Like, I'm going to give you some guidance afterwards. So I'm going to be working on some stuff afterwards too to make sure that you get to that next level because it's not just about me talking to you and taking your money, right? It's about me helping you because remember, your success is my success. So it's about me helping you get to that next level. So I got to make sure that I'm doing everything that I can. And in the one-on-one session, I know that that's more than just 30 minutes or an hour of my time because I'm going to be doing things after that. So I have to think about that. Now, eventually I may go back to one-on-ones just depending on, I've been thinking about it. It would definitely be a decent price. I'm not going to lie because, we talk entrepreneurship here. We talk about business strategies here, right? Like my one-on-one sessions, especially like if you need like one-on-one business coaching from me, because I know that I'm going to provide you with quality, it's going to be a decent price, okay? But I say that to say like that is one strategy that I was able to implement. Now, also like when you're thinking about developing content for your business. You're thinking about posting on LinkedIn. I post on LinkedIn very frequently. If you follow the Public Health Club on LinkedIn, if you follow my personal LinkedIn page, then you know that I post very, very frequently, right? And I schedule those posts. So I take a day and I just batch that content, right? I get in my creative mode and I just batch that content out and I just put it all together. I get I may be typing it up and y'all, ChatGPT is my best friend. So use ChatGPT to help you, but make sure that it sounds like you, okay? Make sure that you got that your voice and your tone in there. So I have to edit a lot of the things and change up a lot of the language, but you want to make sure that you're giving people value. You want to make sure that you are really putting a lot of thought into the content that you are posting on there to let people know that, hey, one, you're a real person and you really want to help them to get to that next level, whether it is the B2B marketing, you're, talking and you're trying to get consulting clients, or whether it is more so that B2C and you're talking to consumers and you're trying to get them into a online course or a group coaching program, or you're trying to do one-on-ones with them, right? So those are different things that you want to think about. Okay, the next thing is how do you handle all of the new business ideas that you have? Because I guarantee you, when you start your business, you are going to have 5 million ideas coming at you at once. And you got to know how to handle that, how to decipher between what the good ideas are and what the ideas you should probably just like leave alone or maybe come back to next year. You got to determine that. But how do you actually determine that? So, the number one thing that I've had to do is go back to my core values of my business. So with the Public Health Club, my core values, literally 3 words: career, consulting, and community. If what I want to do doesn't align with career development, developing consultants or entrepreneurs, or developing like the community and people feeling, people getting together and really having community, then I can't do it right now, right? And if it doesn't align with that, then I got to throw it out. I got to say no. And I have said no to a lot of people that have wanted to partner, that I wanted to do certain projects. We've eventually found other ways to partner because, I'm all about collaboration. But sometimes I have to say no because I have to go back to my core values because, yeah, it seems like a great idea. It's amazing, but it doesn't align with the mission of what I'm trying to do in my business. So you really have to think about what is your mission of what you're going to do in your business, and is your idea something that aligns with where you're trying to go right now. Now, this is why it's so important to develop goals for your business, okay? Smart goals, like goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So you actually have a time and a date of when you want to accomplish that goal, right? If I want to get 1,000 members in the Public Health Club by the end of the year, that is my timeline. Now, here are the strategies, the objectives, and different things that I'm going to do to make sure that I'm measuring progress towards that 1,000 members, right? So all of those things you want to keep in mind when people are coming at you with new ideas, when you are even thinking about new ideas. One of the things that I do a lot of times, I have my notepad and it's my notes on my phone, and every business idea that I get, I go ahead and write it down. Now, I get ideas like when I'm laying in bed, like about to go to sleep, I literally will get an amazing business idea and I'm like, all right, let me write it down. Because if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget it, right? So I literally have a going list for like the past 2 years of business ideas in my phone on the notes app. And I come back to them every now and again because some I've actually been able to go back to and say, oh, wow, that's a good idea. And now that aligns with where I am now in my business. So let me take that and let me implement that, right? I have another note for social media content ideas that I just get. So I'll get these random ideas and I'm like, all right, let me write it down in my phone because, I always got my phone with me. So let me write it down in my phone, and I may not do nothing with it right now, but I might be coming back to it at some point. So that is one of the major ways that I kind of curb that shiny object syndrome. I go ahead and I write all the ideas down that I get. When I get a great idea, I write it down, and then I may come back to it like a week later and really say, okay, now let me analyze. Does this align with my core goals of what I'm trying to do? Does this align with where I want to be in the next year? Does this align with where I want to be in the next 5 years, right? Or is this something that can wait? Is this something that is great, is amazing, but it's not going to help me get to my actual core goals of what I want to do? So that is one of the key things that honestly is very simple, but I feel like it's helped me so much. So it's not like I'm telling myself no, but I'm telling myself maybe not right now because you got all of these things going on. Because I don't know if y'all are like me, like I'm one of those people who like I will take things off my plate, but then I will put 10 more things on there because now I feel like my plate is empty and I need to do something else. So like me, when I was working like full time, when I was doing my consulting business full time, when I was being an adjunct professor, doing all of these things, like I would say, okay, let me, once I left my job, I really had to be intentional about not putting things back on my plate because now I got an offer to say, okay, do you want to do an adjunct position? Do you want to teach right now for this term? And I'm like, oh, well, I don't have the job, so technically I can teach. But no, I got all of this stuff I got to do for the club. I got all of these things. Do I really want to continue to be up till 4 or 5 in the morning and then turn around, got to take my daughter to daycare by 8 a.m. and then come back, have meetings? Do I want to do that continuously? No. So I got to say no to the things that are going to take my time away that are not my priorities. Another thing that I've done as far as like time management, majority of my meetings I try to have on Tuesdays. So now because I can, have my schedule how I want to have it, majority of my meetings for my consulting business, majority of my meetings for like the club, I will have on a Tuesday. So I can have that as my heavy meeting day. So that's the main thing that I'm doing. So I don't have to worry about trying to do work in the middle of a meeting. Like I got a meeting at 9, then I got another meeting at 11, and I got to do work and do assignments right in the middle of that. And now I'm distracted because I get distracted easily. And now then I'm hungry. Like it's like, all of these different things, right? So I try to have my heavy meeting days on Tuesdays. It works out for the most part. Sometimes I'll have like a few meetings like throughout the week on different days, but I may only have like 1 or 2 at the most on other days. Now on a Tuesday, I may have 5 meetings and, I may have one. It just depends on the day, right? But most of my meetings are going to be on that Tuesday, and I'm going to make sure that I'm present for them. I'm taking notes in them. I got my AI note taker, so I use read.ai to take notes in my virtual meetings, and it's definitely a game changer. There's other note takers out there like Otter AI as well, but it's a game changer. It summarizes my notes, give me like the to-do list, the action items, and I can share it with whoever was on the call with me. So it's just definitely a game changer because I can be fully present in meetings now. And yeah, so it's a game changer. But those different things made a huge difference in my ability to develop content for my business, my ability to show up for my members, my ability to show up for my consulting clients, my ability to just do all of these things and then say, okay, now I'm going to show up and be present for my daughter, for my husband, for my family too. So having boundaries in place when you got that shiny object syndrome, when you are doing a social impact business is key because you're going to want to help everybody. You're going to want to say yes to everything. There's a time and a season for saying yes to everything. Now, I remember I read Shonda Rhimes' book, The Year of Yes, and I read that like some years ago. And, I committed to for a time saying yes to a lot of things. And sometimes you may be in a season where you need to say yes, where you need to step out of your box and your comfort zone and say yes to everything. But also know when to cut that off, okay? Know when to have boundaries to say no to things, okay? But if you need to get out of that comfort zone, you really need to take action and implement the ideas and the things that you're doing. You may want to have you a little year of yes. But if you're already doing that and you're burnt out, you're not sure what you're doing, all of these new ideas are coming to you and you're trying to do all of them and you want to implement all of them at the same time, let's get some boundaries, get your little notepad going, and let's go, okay? Okay, so here's your action plan based on everything that we talked about today. Number one, I want you to get that notepad. I want you to start writing down all your ideas. I want you to prioritize them. And then I want you to make sure that they are aligning with your overall mission, your overall vision. If you have said this year you want to take more time for you, you want to prioritize you a little bit more, if what you are saying yes to doesn't allow you to do that, you need to reevaluate, my friend. You need to reevaluate where you're trying to go and how you're trying to get there. And then stop trading your time for money, right? We talked about how I went from one-on-one to doing a group coaching model and even me having online courses. And what my strategy with my online courses, I don't have to show up every single day in the online course. I have a 5-week course called Subcontract into Six Figures where I teach you how to land consulting opportunities, how to land clients, how to write RFPs, how to do all of that if you want to be a public health consultant and have your own consulting business. Now, with that course, the way I structured it, I have pre-recorded sessions that go live at various times throughout each week of the course. So each week you get a new module that opens and it has a lot of lessons in it and it's pre-recorded. So I've done it. The worksheets are already developed. Now, it was a lot on the front end when I was developing all of that in the front end, but now when I do this course, I open it up and I do that. And every week, once a week, we have a live Q&A session where everybody comes together live and you ask all your questions. We go through all that content. We go through it and you're able to feel like you get the help that you need because you're able to talk with me. You're able to connect with me. You're able to ask me all the questions that you need to ask me. So now that looks like me showing up. I'm showing up like once a week live, but then also I'm in the comments, right? So if you have a question as you're going through the course, comment on the lesson. And I'm there answering your comments usually like immediately, but usually like within 24 hours, I'm answering your question within there. So I have my dedicated time throughout that 5 weeks. When you ask a question, you get an answer, right? You do not have an answer. So you feel supported, but also my time, I'm not having to show up live every single day, knowing I'm doing all of these other things. I'm consulting, I'm taking meetings, I'm doing this. So I'm prioritizing my time, but I'm also prioritizing you all, right? As a student of mine, right? Or as a client. So there are so many different strategies and things that you can do to still make an impact, to still show your expertise, to still give people what they need while not neglecting yourself. You just got to find that sweet spot, okay? Sometimes in the beginning, you may have to do all the things you don't want to do. You got to do the one-on-ones. I always recommend people, if you're going to start like a coaching business or like anything like that, do one-on-ones first so you can get the feel of it. You can have success with people and you can know what works, but then you can transition. So definitely an amazing strategy. All right, guys. That is going to conclude our episode for today. If you are interested in consulting and developing your business, make sure that you join the Public Health Club. Make sure that you follow me. Make sure that you subscribe to this podcast and make sure that you share it with a friend. But all right, y'all, I will talk to you later. Bye.